All right, welcoming in the hometown kid, Mount Vernon's own Xavier Neyens. Xavier, what's up, dude? I feel like this show is years in the making, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Joe?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. All right, so I know I've talked to your family for a long time, but hey, viewers, listeners, like, who is Xavier Neyens? Like, tell the audience who you are on the field, what your tools are all about, and then I think even more importantly, like, what's your like off the field? What sort of hobbies and passions and things you like to get yourself into?
Yeah, I'm just a real competitor, on the field, like hardest worker out there, always play with a chip on my shoulder. And then off the field, I like to I played basketball up until this year, and I like to go swimming in the lake, build Legos, that type of stuff. So yeah.
I dig it. Yeah, I like it, man. So I want to ask you about the basketball thing. Let's start there. You play your whole life, right? And then it becomes very clear that there's a path toward something really special on the baseball field. How tough is it giving up one of those sports as it's time to kind of lock in?
Yeah, it's really tough, because especially from the Northwest, we don't get a lot of good weather, right? So like when you go out and play baseball in March and March and April and all that, it's like it's cold and it's raining and it's like it's not the best, But basketball, you're indoors, it's fun, that we usually pack out our gym, so like running out, some music, layup lines, getting in the gym, getting the crowd hyped. It's always a lot of fun, a lot to look up to, So it'll be tough. I'll be missing it this year.
No doubt, no doubt. Um, Xavier, what is your best tool? Because I gotta say, I've interviewed like 280 people on this show, and I can always point to, a top tool from one of these guys. And I'm curious, you've got a couple to choose from. What do you think is your biggest asset?
I'd probably say my hit tool overall. Like especially this summer, like some people looked over my hit tool a little bit, but like you look at you look at last summer, like even this summer, like everywhere I went, I pretty much hit, right? And then I had some things that didn't go my way, some unfortunate things that didn't go my way at the end of the summer, but it's always been my hit tool, right? And then the power tool has always kind of been there, kind of developing a little bit. And then this summer I got to showcase it a little bit, hit 6 homers this summer, hit a few in high school ball. So I'd definitely say my hit tool.
I'm a huge proponent, and a lot of players probably don't see it in the moment. I'm a huge proponent of adversity. I think the earlier you can get hit by, call it a roadblock or a speed bump, the better off you are because of it. And I'm just curious, like you mentioned, the end of your summer, a little bit slower than what we're used to from Xavier Nines, and I'm curious what you took away from that.
Yeah, it was my first time struggling, like quote unquote struggling in a while. It was about 20 at bats, which is like it's not that big of a sample size. So, but it was good for me, like struggling a little bit here and there and learning from it, like this off season I'll be making like a little bit of swing changes, trying to be a little bit more efficient, but like it doesn't really take away from like the first half of the summer I'd say I had in high school season because we went deep into high school season and rolled right into summer ball. So yeah.
I'm curious how locked in you are on your swing mechanics, because one thing that came to fruition or came to light when you hopped on a blast monitor this
Mhm.
summer was your BP swings are a little bit different than your game swings. It's almost as if you're trying to accomplish something different in game for the better. I'm just curious, like, what are your pillars in your swing mechanics? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, so obviously like just trying to hit the ball hard like every at bat, no matter where it's at. I feel like I showed that pretty well this summer, like hitting pitches away, going oppo. Like I probably went oppo this summer better than I'd say anybody else with power. So doing that and just getting my timing down, like working on some different timing cues and maybe getting started a little bit earlier if I'm late a little bit. So doing most of that stuff and like as far as like the blast motion stuff goes, I used to be obsessed with that stuff when I was a kid and I was like, 12, 13, 14. And then I haven't like the only time I'd ever like put it on my bat was like, when you go to area codes or when you go to a PBR showcase. So I haven't looked into it that much, but I know my bat speed metrics are pretty high up there.
Yeah, I mean, you can use the word elite. Your bat speed is definitely elite. Like, we don't have to beat around the bush for sure. You mentioned 12, 13 years old, getting into blast motion stuff. Is that about when it clicked with you that, like, hey, I've really kind of got something here with baseball and I might be going somewhere with this?
Yeah, so growing up when I was like 8, 9, I've always played up, so I was playing up on like the Cal Ripken team, and like I was not good. Like I was just not good at it. I was probably batting, .050 and stuff. Like I could not get hits, but I was a really good defensive catcher. So like that's why I kind of stayed up and played. And then when I was like 10, 11, 12, I started watching like a lot of Bryce Harper film, and I got into like more of like a little tiny leg kick back then. And then I started hitting a lot better, and it's kind of carried throughout, when I was 14. And then, just as you get stronger, then you start to be able to do more things that you couldn't do when you're that age. But yeah.
I like it. How do you train these days? It sounds like you're not a big tech guy. You're big into feel. Do you have a training center? How do you like to train in the winter? Because like you said, I mean, we're looking outside right now. It's absolutely pouring down rain in Seattle.
Yeah, it's foreign here. So yeah, so in the off season, Shenton's home. So
Mm,
I'll always go up to his facility. I'll hit with him or whatever. Like he's like to me, he's like my hitting guy. Like that's who I work on my swing with. Like if I have a question about my swing, if I have a question about something, I'll text him, FaceTime him, right? And now it's nice now because he's home, so I get to work with him, which I've been working with him since he's got home. But when he's gone, it's just like a lot of machine work because the only way to like simulate that velocity that you're gonna be facing off pitchers in the summer that are throwing, mid 90s is like get off a velo machine. And last summer, before the summer and during the summer, and then this year before the summer and also during the summer, like velo machine was my thing. Like I'd get that thing ramped up to it's like 80 miles per hour, but I get up to 45 feet away, so the spin rate's high, and I'm just trying to get on top of baseballs and punch it up the middle pretty much.
yeah. Shout out Austin Shenton for the love. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Xavier, let's talk about the glove because you had mentioned that you started your career behind the plate. A couple years ago, you shift to third base, and you played a little bit of outfield here and there. But how's that transition been for you at third base, and kind of where do you still have to go in terms of development?
Yeah, it's been going pretty well, So this I caught all my life, until I was about 14, I'd say. And I started pitching a little bit more, so that's why I kind of got away from catching because it's hard to pitch and catch, I kind of want to save my arm a little bit. So then I started blending at third base a little bit. And then but when I was a freshman in high school, I was a shortstop. So I got some reps there. Like I was a pretty good defensive shortstop in high school. That summer I played third base for Trotsky. It was like 15U. I wasn't that great. I wasn't bad. Same thing last year though. I played a lot of center field. Like area codes after freshman year, I was playing center field, and then I played center field for high school ball sophomore year, and then that summer I played third base and a little bit outfield, and then this off season was like, or the last off season I was like, all right, I'm gonna like really take it serious in the dirt. I'm gonna really get good at shortstop. So going into high school season, I got a lot of extra reps before after practice at shortstop, and I played a really good shortstop this year. And then this summer I played third base for Trotsky, played fine third base, and I would go play shortstop. I played shortstop at trials, area codes a little bit. So that's been a lot of fun with the glove.
I gotta tell you, not for nothing. I watched you intently play shortstop at Area Codes, and you look like a natural. I mean, the fundamentals, the footwork, the hands, they really do work at the six for you. So I'll be interested to see whether or not you get a shot to play the six at the next level. But speaking of the next level, Oregon State, the Beavers, Mitch Canham, what was it about Corvallis that kind of sold you?
Yeah, so it was pretty much like the 2018 national championship, right? It was like I think I was 10. I was about 10 years old when that happened, maybe 11. And I was like, wow, like team from the Northwest winning national championship, it's all. And then like that kind of set the tone. I was like, that's my dream school. So then, growing up, I've been watching Oregon State baseball, Adley Rutschman, Jacob Melton. And then I was in eighth grade, and I just like I got my offer. I went to Oregon State in like February and just like walked around the campus just because like I was like I'm pretty sure I want to go here, but I just want to walk around the campus just to see it, because I haven't seen it yet. And I was like, well, this is like a perfect college town. It's like not calling out UW, but like I used to go to a lot of UW football games, and it's like right in the middle of the city. So I didn't really like that kind of vibe. But then you go to Corvallis, it's like perfect college town. Committed a week later, and now here I am, still committed to Oregon State, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Mitch is the man.
Hey man, as a guy that went to Washington State, a quintessential college town in the middle of nowhere, there's something romantic about just being siloed, right, in college. So, uh, yeah, Wazoo and Oregon State will always be brother and sister moving forward.
Yeah.
Hey, so talk to me about the next steps. What does this winter look like for Xavier Neyens in terms of development? What are you really keying in on?
Yeah, so obviously just like getting stronger, you know. I'm in the weight room. I have like weight training five days a week, and then like especially speed work this off season because I got like a little bit faster this last year, but I want to keep getting even faster. You know, I want like my 60 right now is 6'8", and I want to get down to like try and get down to like 6'7", 6'6". So that would be like a big goal of mine, and just keep locking down the swing and getting really good with the glove. Like that's something that I'm also going to take really serious this off season and during high school season because that's your time to develop it, right? Because right now like the only way I can get outside is go on turf, but our high school field right down the road it's dirt, so it's a good way to get reps in the infield.
I dig it. Um, Living here in the Pacific Northwest, we're kind of tucked away a little bit. You're tucked away from the rest of the country. I'm assuming to a certain degree, you grew up a Seattle Mariners fan to some degree. Is there a player that you idolized growing up, or that you modeled your swing after, whether it be in Seattle or somewhere else around the country?
Yeah, so when I was like really young, I liked Ichiro and then Mike Zunino, and I remember when Ichiro got traded away or whatever, and I was sad. But like those two guys were my favorite Mariners. And then when I was like 2019, I would say 2019, 2020, I was playing Warzone with Shenton, and he's like, "Yo, can my buddy hop on?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." His buddy is Julio, so we played some Warzone with Julio. Like, he was sick, but off like idolizing or like growing up looking up to like Jock Peterson was kind of like the player that I like to really look up to when I was younger.
I dig that pull. Jock Peterson has one of the most underrated swings. I think of his generation. I mean, the amount of power that guy projects. Um, I'm just curious from a casual outsider, was Julio any good at Warzone? Were you able to keep up with Julio?
Well, we were running we were running like trios or squads or whatever. So like me and Shenton were like, let's land here. And Julio would just be like, all right. And then he would land somewhere totally different. Like, okay, so he's just out and about. And then, the circle would get tighter. So we'd meet up with him and he'd have like 15 kills. And me and Shenton were sharing like 4 kills apiece or whatever. I'm like, okay, so this guy's just really good at this. And
So
we're
he
not.
just puts the team on his back. It doesn't matter where it is.
Doesn't matter where it is, he just does it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was awesome though.
All right, man. Well, hey, listen, I'm a huge fan. I'm excited to see what's next for you, but I can't get you out of here without asking three more questions. I know you might know what's coming, but say you play for 20 more years, man.
Mhm.
Um, what's the one walk-up song you'd be comfortable sticking with for 2 decades?
2 decades. Gosh, this is a hard one. I've been recently like looking at a bunch of walk-up songs and stuff.
Now,
Um,
do you have walk-up songs at Mount Vernon? Do they have a speaker system?
no, we don't. But like you go places and they like PBR. We have walk-up song and stuff. My walk-up song is "Sweet Escape." Kind of just gets the crowd into it. Um,
That's a classic too. That would work.
yeah, probably "No Hands." I can't remember the artist, but
Waka Flocka.
yeah, "Walk a Flock." Yeah, that song. I feel like just something that gets the fans going. Would
I
be.
dig that. I like it. I like it. Hey, so it's middle of October. I'm curious, how many Zoom calls have you had with scouts and front offices at this point? This is about that time, the holidays, when they start to kick up. And if you've had any, what's the strangest question you've received so far?
Yeah, I actually haven't had any yet, just because I'm waiting for my mom to be done with volleyball so then she can be here. But I'll get them started up here pretty soon, next month or two. So,
Okay. Last two questions. So you've been all over the showcase and travel circuit all summer. Who's the one guy that you would not let date your sister?
would not let date my sister. Gosh, gotta really think. Probably he's on my summer ball team, Lincoln Garcia.
Okay.
I would not let Lincoln. Yeah, I just would not let him date my sister at all. That
Shout
definitely,
out.
it's like not even a question.
Shout out Lincoln Garcia.
Yeah,
Uh,
he'll get clowned on because of that, but yeah.
Other side of that. Let's talk let's talk some of these showcases, the PBR All-American games, some of the other ones that you've been to. I'll give you area code games too. Who's the one guy that you've traveled and had dinner with and eaten with? Let's say the whole team goes out to a restaurant, right? Who's the one guy that is going to order like chicken nuggets for the whole team? Like you're just not going to let that kid have the menu.
Yeah, geez, it's kind of hard to go out to dinner with so many people, but um, gosh, I don't even know. Probably it's got to be somebody on my like Trotsky summer ball team. It's got probably like Slater DeBrun.
Yeah?
I feel like he would definitely order something like that. Yeah.
Oh man, I'll Slater's going to be on this show soon. I'll make sure to bring that up with him.
Or Hunter Fujimoto. He's also on my Trotsky team. He's just he's a cool kid, but I feel like he'd order some weird stuff off the menu.
Okay, all right, Hunter Fujimoto. We'll remember that too. Hey, listen, Xavier, big fan. I'll be out to several of your games this year. I'm excited to see what you can bring to the diamond. But um, good luck the rest of the way. I hope to hear you called early. And if that's not in the cards, man, Oregon State Corvallis has got a good one coming. So
Oh
good
yeah.
luck, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.